that I talked about. Graves and Ornn both 6-0 undefeated. Orianna
Also won.
8-0 now, still undefeated, and that looks like a missed ban on the side of Legacy. Big smiles. Whether that was intentional or not, we'll have to find out later today.
Yeah, missed a ban there. That's not the greatest thing. Renekton Camille bans, so they're banning out tops here. Azir ban as well, so they're targeting mids. I wonder if that trend will continue, but both these junglers are kind of different. We look at Kakao, we look at Babip. We've seen Kakao, Hecarim, Lilia, all these champs, whereas Babip more kind of farming orientated with the Graves and Italy, but slightly different towards the recent years of League of Legends.
And super quick update there, Kadrill. The first ban was in fact Shen from Legacy. It is a graphics issue. It was in fact a ban champion.
And you know what's open.
Our graphics department has just popped that up. So Ornn is open, Orianna is open, Graves is open.
You're learning, Trevor.
The Holy
You're learning
Trinity.
League.
Oh, young man, that tone is not appreciated. 6-0 for the Ornn. But now the question is, do you look at picking up those other picks and the options on the other side? Because like Lilia's open too, and by the way, she's 1-5. It feels like a trap card.
Yeah, I think Lilia has been a trap. I mean, 3 top bans and an Ornn first pick, so I think SuperMassive has to respond with their top laner in the first 3. I think Nidalee is definitely better. Denies it from Babip, who hasn't actually shown us Lilia game yet. Can also go for jungle AD, it's very standard, and then go for top on 3. Depends on how big Armored's champion pool is. If he's got the Wukong up his sleeve, the Mordekaiser, the Sion, then dropping to 4-5 is not the worst, so then you can get your AD and support on 3. And there is like a little bit of mid bans as well, so do they want to go middle support on 3, or do they just want to play it safe and go for their top? So they're going to go for the center, it looks like.
And that's the first center that we're going to see out of Zeitnot here in the play-ins group stage if it is locked in. We have seen Kakao play that Nidalee already. It was a victory. And with the last second swap to Wukong, this has been something that has been very discussion-worthy. We've seen some blind pick Wukongs, and I know it's not the strongest blind pick, but then it's also not guaranteed to go top right now either.
Well, it's probably going top, I'd say, Trevor.
I think probably. I said not guaranteed. I've watched enough Kaiser Wukong games to think that it could be a flex.
Okay.
But I agree with you. The expectation is that it is going to go there, of course.
Yeah, that's a set Lilia, so that could be a set mid lane. There was 3 top bans and an Ornn first pick, so I like that SuperMassive decided to go for their top pick on the 1-2, so SuperMassive should know that's a set mid probably, and Balulu has played Lulu once. It feels weird to say Balulu Lulu.
Yes,
But it does lock in the Lulu, so that's going to be a supportive mid. It could go support. It is sort of a flex into the set, I suppose. But they are banning away things like the Bards, so support man's coming in, expecting something like a Leona, Nautilus, things like these. What
are you seeing from the composition as a whole on the side of SuperMassive? Nidalee, Wukong, Lulu. These are not like a trio that we're used to seeing all the time, especially now that Bard has been banned away as well, so signaling they want to just remove some of those options in the support pool.
Yeah, I support the Lulu. I suppose the Lulu will round it out really well if you get something like a hyper carry on the side of SuperMassive. I think LGC Legacy's team fights look really strong already. You've got the Ornn, you've got the Set, you've got the Lilia, so lots of engage, lots of frontline, lots of follow-up, so lots of damage basically coming out the side. And I'm wondering where the next ban is. Did Legacy? I think that's probably another error there.
We'll find out. The production team will give me an update if we are having any issues, what the next bans are. And I will ping them right now. So you can theorize for me, what direction do you want to see the Phase 2 pick priority?
Well, I'm supposing their support ban's coming in. I'm expecting another ban from SuperMassive on the support role as well. And then they can transition into, do they want to pick their AD carry on 4, get something like a hyper carry, and then counterpick the support? Twitch is taken out, so that's one of the main hyper carries we've been seeing throughout Worlds itself. So you're looking at things like the Ashe. I think Senna wouldn't really fit in their comp too well. Doesn't give them that late game insurance, and Senna Lulu is not really something you want to run. So I'm expecting SuperMassive to kind of divert something different than that.
Well, let's see what direction they want to go. Very quick update for everyone at home. The 4th ban from Legacy was in fact missed. That was one that timed out. They were unable to find a ban, and Caitlyn's been removed. So that Caitlyn Lulu would be a hella oppressive lane if it was to go through.
Yeah, if that Lulu is a flex as well, so that's another hyper carry they've taken out. I suppose they want to take away 2, probably like an Ashe and a Caitlyn, because they're the 2 best ones with Lulu, especially in support and in mid. The Ardent's super useful. Jhin and Senna, not so much, but it's definitely nice to have the move speed on Jhin, whereas Senna doesn't really get much. But there's another hyper carry. We haven't seen it yet.
First Aphelios of play-ins.
They have to get a hyper carry, Trevor. We found a hyper carry. It's Aphelios. I was expecting something a bit different than that, maybe something like a Kai'Sa or even a Kog Lulu, but they've gone for the Aphelios. I think that's the first time we're going to see it in play-ins, so let's see how Legacy respond. They might be a bit happy that they missed their Ashe ban or something like that now, so they maybe can pick it up themselves, but they're going to go for the Ezreal. I don't think they'll be playing Ezreal set bot, so...
Now, what do you make of Aphelios on the current patch? And you know, he was dropping off in priority even at the end of summer, pretty much worldwide.
Yep.
Now to bring it back in the play-in stage, you know, the winner of this match will face Team Liquid for a first, second seed. And now Zeitnot is locked in his Aphelios.
Yeah, Aphelios has dropped through the prio sort of through the years. He got lots of nerfs. The 200 years got taken down to 150 years almost sometimes. So he is really strong in the late game. 3 items, 4 items. So he will be very deadly, especially with the Lulu. They are going to go for the Karma. So that could be a Karma mid, could be a Karma support, could be a set mid, could be a set support. So SuperMassive have to counter pick with something here. Do they want to put the Lulu bot and then pick a really strong mage mid, something like an Orianna, which is still open? 8-0 in the tournament.
Yes. If the Orianna is locked in, it'll be going up against the Ornn,
So
which
it
is
gonna be Lulu
undefeated. And Bo Lulu will be running Lulu in the mid lane. Wukong top with the Nautilus bot. And now we'll find out whether the set or Karma will swap, but I anticipate that will be the set mid and the Karma bottom.
The only thing I don't really like about SuperMassive's comp is you have the core of the Aphelios Lulu. The Lulu might be mid, so obviously she'll get the items faster, but there's not much support for this Aphelios. Yes, Nautilus is sort of a frontline. Wukong will be diving in, Nidalee will be healing you up. It's almost like you've got 2 supports with the Aphelios, but not as much frontline that you'd probably want. Something like a Sion or an Ornn on your team would definitely help with the engage. So their engage is kind of hitting hooks, maybe a Wukong flank, whereas on the side of Legacy, they have really good engage. They have really good kite potential. They can disengage with the Ezreal Karma, or they can engage with the Set and Ornn. So I like Legacy's comps more well-rounded, but if this Aphelios gets ahead for SuperMassive, I'm a bit scared for their frontline.
It's terrifying, and when you consider all of the knockups, Depth Charge from Nautilus, Cyclone ×2 from Wukong, Wild Growth from Lulu, there is a lot of very hard CC on the side of SuperMassive.
You know your spells well, Trevor.
But it is a different, it's historical, dude. I have to keep that up or I'm in trouble. But it is, there is the potential for it to be very, very difficult to deal with, but it's a non-traditional look. It's not something we've seen a lot of, and we've not seen Aphelios. So as the coaches are leaving the stage, reminder that this is the battle for a shot at groups directly. The loser will take the 3rd seed, and that means they will play against either Mad Lions or INTC. The winner will face off against Team Liquid. And the winner of that game will advance to the group stage immediately. The loser will then be the 2nd seed and go into playoffs. We'll cover this again throughout the course of the next 3 games. We still have 3 games to play.
Oh boy.
Do not turn that stream off. Do not leave us. And let's set some expectations. We've covered the draft. We've seen from both Legacy and SuperMassive things that we've liked throughout the group stage and some challenges. So who do you favor in terms of executing these drafts, which, especially on the SuperMassive side, is not something we were anticipating?
I would say Legacy's draft is easier to execute just based on the meta itself. You have the set mid with the push, you have an Ornn top, which is kind of like the weak side. So you're probably going to play into this Ezreal Karma, get the push, use the set, and try and move around the map with the Lilia. Try to do as much as you can to try and shut the enemy mid down, shut the enemy mid lane down, because this Lulu, although she will have a little bit of push prio, she's not super useful in the 2v2s early game. She's definitely looking at getting some supportive items, getting the Aphelios buffed up. So the thing is with Legacy's comp, you can kind of identify your lose condition at times, right? It's just the Aphelios. If the Aphelios is ahead, well, you can't really win the fights. And if the Wukong can get a flank, then you can't win the fights either. So there's only 2 lose conditions for them, really. Whereas on the side of Legacy, they have so many win conditions. They can just play 2 team fights. They can just play mid to bot with the set looking for dives. Ezreal always spike 3-4 items. They have really good scaling. So I'd say it's easier for Legacy to have more win conditions, but I suppose in teamfight SuperMassive just buff up the Aphelios and he just kills everyone. So
yeah, the
2 different win conditions.
Super hyper carry, as it were. I love the way that you have phrased it though, because it really does focus in our viewing and our expectation setting. Can SuperMassive get Zeitnot to a point that he can carry? Can he get to the 200 years of Aphelios that was dominating socials, Reddit, the world, the Rift several months ago? And that's the question we're going to answer in the next 30 minutes.
But time is what SuperMassive needs. This Aphelios won't really come online until 2-3 items, and then after the 3 items he'll only get stronger as well. But Legacy have the tools to start forcing things early game. Get the early dragons, try to get the first swap onto the Herald, because you have the Karma Ezreal bot push, but they do need to be a bit careful. Snowflower, if he does land a hook and Kakao is around, I think Isles can die quite easily. They have lots of setup, lots of CC for Kakao on this Nidalee. So I'm expecting Kakao to play towards the bot side, try to get some 3v3s going, because that's where SuperMassive can really contest.
Right, let's take a look at the Keystone super quickly. Phase Rush, Ghost Flash for Tally on that set. Very big indicator that once Babip or Tapoon decide to make their way forward and look for either the Lullaby or the Ornn Horn, he wants to be able to get in there, break some faces, get that showstopper down, And I think with the amount of like frontline, the initiation tools there, and then you can buff it up with a Karma engage, it's exactly like you highlighted. There's multiple ways that you can use their skills and their abilities, and a Lilia invade time and time again.
Normally you'd expect the Lilia to invade the Raptors, but they've gone something different here, and I think the concept isn't just to take away the blue, it's to split the map. Because they know they've got Nautilus into Karma. If they do get hit by a hook and Kakao is around when Babip is clearing his respawn topside camps, then there is danger for the Ezreal Karma to push, but they're going to get this blue buff. I expect Babip to take this full side jungle, but Kakao has taken the red and he's moving down, so this is the risk of the split map. If Kakao actually doesn't know this is happening, he might run down and catch you on the Gromp, so if he gets collapsed on here, Babip could be in danger.
So we'll keep a close eye.
He's running away now, so that's very smart decision making.
The ward's definitely giving Babip the time to make a move out of lane. We do have a brief pause, but Zeitnot and Snowflower obviously watching Raze and Isles coming into lane. Will have all the information they need to work with to share that info. And of course, clearing out the ward is another step. So let's look a little bit forward. If this map has been split, it wasn't a full clear on the side of Babip and Legacy.
Yep.
With the information that's been picked up from Kakao, as we do hear that golden sound in
Love that sound. My favorite.
what would you anticipate, or what would you like to see from sort of Kakao, maybe Supermassive in the next few minutes?
I mean, Kakao didn't actually know his blue was being taken, but he must have known because Ezreal Karma got the bot late.
Yes.
They came from the right side of the river, so they must have known. Kakao ran down. It was good decision making. It's going to put him behind. He won't have a blue buff, so he's going to be down a camp, and he's unsplit the map. So that means that Isles can't really push in the wave as much with this Karma. He is going to be punished if Snowflower can land the hooks now. So that relieves a lot of pressure, because if the map was split, hypothetically, then they can just keep these pushes, Set can roam to bot, and there's going to be a 4v2 for the next sort of 3 to 4 minutes. So, Snowflower would have to give up waves, but now the map's kind of even again, so it's just a blue buff loss. And when you look at jungle itself, not only do you lose the blue buff, but they gain it, right? So it's a net, it's sort of like a -2, right?
Yeah.
You lose the gold and they gain it. So it's not the end of the world when it's this early into the game. It's only a blue buff. I think Nidalee can just full clear back up base and come back down, so this should be okay.
Got it. I've just got an update from the production team that it was an in-game settings related problem, so hopefully that should be very quick to resolve and will get us back into game. But the thing that I do want to highlight is that the move or the idea that Legacy wanted to kind of look to split the map or look to get some control, I think also shows the lose condition awareness, right?
Back.
If they could put some pressure onto Zeitnot and to Sunflower, as you can see Kakao already coming in. Ray's going to use the flash. Isles use the exhaust. That is a gigantic win for Supermassive, putting them on the back foot. Now, it is an Ezreal Karma lane, so it's still very difficult to gank or to put pressure on, and Kakao's not done yet.
Yeah, Tally should be able to move after the mid wave, but Kakao has the smite. Babip does as well. Snowflower's moving up, so that's the bot prio. He helped bot get prio. Now Babip's going to have to back off, I think. Kakao with the red buff, and that's jungle early. Level 1 to 2, whichever jungler has red buff normally wins the fights, and Kakao pushes Babip out there, and this is what we talked about. 3v3 bot side. Kakao runs down, Snowflower hits a hook, you have to flash.
Yeah.
And once you flash, Snowflower gets the prio, and now they can take away the red buff. So Kakao doesn't play this safe, he doesn't clear his own jungle. Both these junglers are sort of picking and prodding at what they can get, right? Kakao comes down, pushes Babip out, takes his red. Now Babip gets pushed out, he's looking for his raptors, so Babip, Armut's moving down, he might have to flash away here.
Damage here, Babip is in trouble, needs to get over. Well, he doesn't do it! You can't get away from the crushing blow, it started the animation. And Armut gets the kill. Not only does he get the kill, he gets the blue buff back into lane as well.
The blue buff. He's going to TP back to the lane here probably. It depends on the wave state. And now Kakao takes his top crab. He's looking at double crab here. He can look at enemy blue buff if he wants to contest it more. There are pings coming on the blue, so I think Legacy think that Kakao's on the blue, but he just took away the crab. Gets the camp advantage back, so now he's the one with the favorable sort of lead in the early game. Armut saves the TP. I think that's a good choice, especially when Dragon's coming up soon. You have jungle and bot prio, so you really want to focus on that.
They'll definitely help out Supermassive, and like if you can get a couple early dragons on the Supermassive side, they've already got some late game insurance in the hands of the Aphelios and all the tools around him with the buffs from Lulu and the Nidalee. But if you can add some dragon stacking on there, it's also some good potential. So down 10 CS for Armut, but with blue buff and the wave pushing towards him, he'll be able to make that up, and he's going to be obnoxious jumping onto Tapoon over and over again.
They can 4-man dive bot here. The wave's stacked. Okay, so Bululu does TP back mid. I think Kakao can come down here and throw some spears because Legacy want to push this wave in. If you're getting pushed on a tower with double ranged and they have a melee support, the dives are pretty good setup, especially with the Nautilus. So this is not really how Legacy want the game to be. I think Babip needs to get back to the bot side, try and help the bot lane get the push so they can actually start controlling the river on the bot side, because Tapoon is going to play weak side this game. He's going to keep saving his TP, try and keep up in CS, build his ruby crystals, and then keep his huge 100% win rate on that one up.
Yeah.
But yeah, bot lane is basically where people need to focus now.
Now, if you're a stats aficionado, 1 in 5 for Lilia, What was it? 8-0 for Ornn. 6-0, correction. 6-0 for Ornn. So, will the win more champion or the lose more champion come out victorious? We will find out. But SuperMassive, 700 gold up. Even on CS in the top lane, plus around 8 or 9 here for Bolulu in the mid lane. As Tally has returned and Bolulu will be able to start catching this wave in front of him. Zeitnot and Snowflower continue to push forward. Continue to pressure this lane. Remember, Raze, no flash, Isles, no exhaust. So they can't quite push that wave back as aggressive as they want. And Nautilus is one of the better melee supports at shoving those waves in. His Riptide in the E does so much work and helps out the AoE that Aphelios can bring as well.
Yeah, Babip hovering towards the top side. I think he's got the Raptors timer. He's trying to get the respawn on those. And SuperMassive are keeping this bot push up as well. So not a great spot for the side of Legacy. They really need to get this Ezreal to push. If he comes out of lane without a CS lead and this Aphelios goes unpunished, then it's going to be a really good spot going into mid-game.
And one of the things we did talk about, of course, is that Legacy will have more tools, more options, or like more ways that they can play out, you know, the mid-game and late game. They can look for some picks or team fights, etc. But for SuperMassive, it comes down to one simple priority. Keep Zeitnot alive and try to get him to 200 years. So for team fights, that'll be the expectation we want to watch. And Cadril, just as you talked about, with the pressure in the bottom lane, with the advantage that Cacaw's been able to accrue. Easy pickup on that Mountain Drake at 6 minutes. With the Cloud spawning next, we're going to get either an Ocean or an Infernal Soul, which both of them I think are very spicy, and Raze will be forced to use that Arcane Shift backwards as Zeitnot and Snowflower continue pressure.
The whole problem with these range supports is they're used to get lane advantages, right? The Karma, the Lux, Morgana, things like this. And when it comes to team fights, they're not so useful because they're so squishy, they have to play so far back. And the melee supports are the ones that normally suffer against the range supports in the lane phase if they have jungle prio. So the AD carry gets ahead, the melee support is a level behind or is just down on tempo, so the range support can kind of take over the map. But in this case, the range support's under her tower. So that means in team fights, Karma, she won't be as useful as she should be. I think the melee supports like Nautilus, like the Alistar, stuff like this are just so impactful in the sort of the meta, in engaging, making sure you get these picks. And although Legacy do have all the engage they need from the top side, it would have been nice to have some kind of melee support if they're going to go even in bot.
And I think it's so important to remind everyone that it's because of Cacaw's gank. As we came out of that pause, unfortunately we didn't see the full setup, but Cacao, he had his blue buff stolen. He immediately pushed towards that bottom lane, landed a very big javelin, and I think the dredge line connected as well. So Raze lost his flash, Isles lost his exhaust. It has just become available in the last minute. And I think importantly then again, Cacao was able to push Babip out of his own jungle. And Cacao moved in and stole that red buff away. So it's accrued all these advantages for SuperMassive. They're up 700. Obviously with a little bit of the skirmish, we were able to see Armored catching out Babip in the river, and that's what allowed him to pick up first blood.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cacao played it really smart. You know, he was the one getting split, sort of the map split on himself, but he turned it around, and it's not really the AD pick that you have to focus on in the early game. It's the jungle supports, right? They're the ones with the setup. And the Nidalee Nautilus is huge setup level 1 to 5, especially level 6 with Nautilus ult as well. So it makes it hard for this Karma Ezreal to step up, hit the tower, get some plates. But we can see SuperMassive with the bot push. They're first to the swap. So Cacao looks like he wants to start the Herald. The pinks are down. I believe Zeitnot's going to push in this wave. Bolulu's here too. Yeah,
there's some support coming from Tapoon.
I think Armut might need to TP soon.
Tapoon's got his ultimate available. Let's see how long this starts. SuperMassive, they've not fully committed. Shelly will get time to lose some patience and reset and move back into the pits.
So now SuperMassive just needs to play slow. Armut's taking plates in bot. Tapoon showed on the top side on trap, so SuperMassive just need to keep them there. Play a little game, make sure they don't start. And if they do start it, Armut will TP in, but they're on a timer. They have to start it now. I believe it looks like on the minimap they have. So this could turn into a 5v5, or they could just let Armut get the platings by himself.
SuperMassive want to start this one. Cacao's waiting in the wings. Javelin toss available.
He has a good TP wall behind.
Movement coming in here from Bolulu.
There it is, he's TPing on it.
Fall of the Forge God is started. The secondary proc interrupted by Snowflower, but he's put to sleep, knocked in the air, and put back in the fountain. Tapoon gets the first kill of the game for Legacy, and they turn their attention to Zeitnot. The lose condition activated. Legacy find 2 quick kills. Get the teleport out of Armut as well. And frankly put, win the initiation. Now, Tapoon gets caught up by the Glitter Lance. The Cyclone goes in, as well as that Warrior Trickster. Multi-man knock up the Wild Growth. Give Legacy some air miles because they are flying. Crushing blow to the face sets up another kill for Armored. Now he's forced to retreat and run away for his life as Isles and Raze are focusing him down. While that's going on, inside the pit, Tally is being whacked away on by Cacao and Bolulu. He's able to escape with his life thanks to the flash, and Snowflower, after being the first to fall, returns to the river, and it ends up being a 1-for-4 in favor of Legacy.
Trevor, what's going on? They tried to contest the Herald 3v5. It looked a bit weird. Armad kind of lived for so long, but Legacy, look at the side waves. They need to push out these side waves. They're losing so much gold. Tapoon TP's back to the Herald, and we've seen this so much throughout play-ins, especially the meta in general. When one team is grouped as a ball on an objective and one team is split 3-2, if the ball always commits onto the sort of the number disadvantage, then they're always going to win the fight. So Zeitnot did get caught out in that fight with Snowflower there, and then Kakao, Armut, and Balulu tried to bring it back. They did go 4-for-1, and that's not what you want to do when you're playing this late-game comp.
Absolutely not the case. 0-1-0 for Zeitnot's Aphelios. 2-0-2 for Raze on the Ezreal. Rift Herald just picked up. He's going to be sitting on a lot of gold. It's dead even between the respective teams thus far. But I think when you see the amount of knockups and HP that Armut gets from the shielding and the heal or the wild growth of Lulu, you can see that combination and how well it works.
Yeah, I was surprised Armut lived for so long here. I thought he would die quite quickly. There's 4 members on him. He gets the wild growth, the shields. He did get exhausted, so his damage was kind of low. And with the Q animation, he picks up Babek again, which is the same kind of thing that happened level 3 when he flashed over the wall. So SuperMassive going for this 3v5. I suppose they overestimated their teamfight prowess with the Lulu and the Wukong. They do lose 4 kills. They lose the Herald, and Legacy in a good spot now. The Ezreal, 2 kills in the early game. He's got the mana immune. He's building towards that Triforce.
I mean,
the gold lead doesn't really show it, but in terms of map control, I think Legacy's definitely favored now.
Agreed. That mantra Defiance that came out from Karma, the shield literally saving Tally's life as he escapes from that last auto attack from Kakao. Legacy sitting around the pit. Tapoon's still got Call of the Forge God available, and the rest of the team are here. Do they want to pick the fight despite the dragon going down? While Legacy may have the gold lead and be a little bit ahead of the tempo here and controlling Zeitnot, 2 dragons for Supermassive cannot be denied. Call of the Forge God, secondary proc, and there goes the wild growth. Snowflower misses the dredge line. You need to land that if you're going to Spider-Man your way out. So Supermassive get the dragon, Legacy get the kill.
Yeah, Snowflower, no flash, and we talked about the engage from Tapoon and Tally. The set Ornn can just pull the trigger whenever they want, and Snowflower was too far forwards with his team. Does get taken down. 0-2-0 on this Nautilus, and Legacy is down in gold a little bit just based on the CS across the board. Armut was really far ahead because when that Herald started, when you're fighting over these neutral objectives, it's all about the side lanes. If you have a good top and bot wave stacking towards you and you get the objective, then you get a net positive of like 300 to 400 gold on top of it. So the waves weren't in favor of Legacy, unfortunately. They did win the fight, they got the kills, but they're still in the gold lead and they're looking to contest this blue buff. Babip has the smite, but Kakao does get it.
Yeah, manages to make it out. Manages to use that pounce as well. Kakao down a level to Babip. Pretty much even across the board everywhere else, almost 1 level up, and the wave is under a little bit of pressure. But by the way, that previous kill picked up by Raze, he's got the Sheen, he's got the Mana Moon. We're 12 minutes in, even on CS, and this Ezreal is going to become a massive threat during the mid-game. Isles, very good flash there after being tagged by the Javelin Toss. And if you look at the river though, Babip and Tally are nearby. Yeah,
we talked about this in draft. The set, Tally on the set is just moving mid to bot every single time he can. He knows Balulu has TP. He always wants to be ready for the fights, and Babip has the Herald. I think they want to pop it down here because giving all the gold towards Raze on the Ezreal is what we need. No TPs on top side, so Tally is just hovering around. Balulu's looking for a TP, standing still on the tier 2. Oh, he started moving again now. I think he was looking around for the TP because there is a ward behind him, but you don't really want to flank on the Lulu.
No, it doesn't feel that way right now. Kakao can come over the wall. He's about to find Tally. The tower will get tagged by Shelly, and there's a couple of plates under the belt. 35 seconds before those plates drop off. Another one just about to fall. Raze will not be able to stick around long enough, and at the end of the day, it is that additional gold. It is an advantage here to Legacy. Kakao is still lingering, by the way. I feel like he's been sitting there by the Tribush for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to look for some kind of plays. He wants Snowflower to go in. Isles doesn't have flash and Raze doesn't either, so I think that they want to punish it. Balulu has the TP too, but we talked about this in draft. If Legacy can get this mid to bot going, then they're slowly going to get this Ezreal stronger and stronger and stronger. And Kakao did shut it down in the first 5 to 6 minutes with that early gank, getting Raze flash and stopping him from being able to push. But Legacy have definitely come back strong. They've got the 4 kills on the Herald. They did get the Herald itself. They got the platings and bots, so Raze 100% kill participation. He's looking strong on this Ezreal. Okay,
talk to me then about Ocean Soul. The Ocean Drake will spawn in 2 minutes. Supermassive already have 2 under their belt, so they're on track for a 23, 24-minute Soul, right? Well, 20 to 22 minute Soul.
Yep.
Obviously, it's going to have a huge impact, but it will mean picking a fight against the Legacy composition, which is nearly fully online itemization-wise. Can they win that fight?
Well, the third dragon's in 2 minutes. Zeitnot doesn't even have one item yet, so I suppose in terms of team fight, I think SuperMassive, although they have the 2 Drake advantage right now, I think they're going to have to drop the next couple Drakes. They really need to get this Aphelios to 2 or 3 items before they take these fights. Balulu building towards something like an Athenes as well, needs to get these supportive items. The only real strong member that's down to fight right now is Armut and arguably Snowflower. The rest of them are really looking to scale, get the Athenes, get the Ardents, get all those things buffed up for the Aphelios, and then you can look for the fights, because I think if SuperMassive do decide to fight this Drake in 1 minute 30, they might get rolled.
All right, so not the right call. And I guess at the end of the day, the fact there's no towers taken yet, this is actually a good thing for SuperMassive. If they can get Legacy to elect to take the Drake, focus on that, defend their towers, it means SuperMassive can buy time to farm up. Get the itemization on both Zeitnot and Bolulu, because frankly, that's what they need. They need time, they need a farm, and they need items.
Yeah, Ray's sitting on 2 items now. He's so strong.
Man, Frozen Fist already?
Yeah, and the only real way I see SuperMassive actually getting this 3rd Drake is if they make a pick. So Isles with no flash needs to be careful, make sure he plays with vision, make sure he's not the one face checking, and I'd like to see Topoon use an early TP to secure it, perhaps because the 3rd Drake is big. If they steal the 4th, you're in a really bad spot. So Topoon, he could move down, TP back to top, or he could TP early to make sure he's in the fight.
Small level advantage for Armut and Bolulu, 11-11 to the 10-10. I don't think it'll last particularly long, as both solo laners for Legacy are still in lane. 20 CS advantage in the top lane in favor of Armut. Maybe he picked up first blood, he had that blue buff, and he's been able to bully Topoon just a little bit. And he's been able to keep up his responsibility on the Wukong, and I think that's crucial. On a pick like Wukong, you really do need to get some itemization under your belt. He's got that Black Cleaver, and that's going to do so much to help out Zeitnots and Kadril. SuperMassive want to fight. SuperMassive want to surprise someone.
They want to make a pick. If they can make a pick before this Drake, it's huge. Makes it a 5v4. They can get the early Drake as well. 3rd Ocean Drake would be amazing for the Soul. So this mid wave's going to be contested. Armut's come down, Topu's come down. They're dropping top waves. It is kind of frozen for the side of Legacy, so that's pretty good. But this Dragon is the main focus now. Herald's up 2, so you don't really want to trade it either, especially seeing as on the 3rd Drake. But Legacy, they just got full control. Balulu just based, so he's going to have to TP back if they want to fight this. Looks like he's going to TP for it.
SuperMassive a little bit split up. Bolulu TP to the mid lane. That's going to be a defensive move. Once again, Snowflower interrupts Topoon's call of the Forge God. That was exceptional. The initiation from Armut holds on to the Cyclone for now. And now 5 members of Legacy pushing towards SuperMassive bottom lane. That's the engage, that's the Nimbus Strike, that's the Cyclone and the Showstopper. Tally stays alive for just a little bit longer as now SuperMassive continue the siege. They've been able to force Legacy to retreat. True Shot Barrage flies across SuperMassive, and SuperMassive start to back away. They've interrupted the Dragon, but neither team has control just yet.
Yeah, Topoon's basing. He's going to TP back here. There's no ultimates for anyone really apart from Zeitnot. They've used everything in that fight, and they need to try and steal this. Babip needs to get in there.
Let's take a look what happens. It's going to be a smite fight. SuperMassive get it. They're 1 away from the Soul, but now they're stuck inside the pit. Can they get away with their life? Defensive flash by Snowflower and Legacy are trying to shoot fish in a barrel. SuperMassive are just stuck inside the pit. Look at that. Mystic shot after Mystic shot. And they're just daring them
Kakao can jump as well, but
into the fight. Finally, Topoon fancies a shot. I've never seen fish in the barrel like this before.
Whack-a-mole.
This is just straight up whack-a-mole. Mystic shot misses. Keep firing the skill shots. There's the interrupt. Finally, Snowflower catches onto Tally. He's looking to whack down on Snowflower and the rest of SuperMassive. 1, 2, 3 quick kills. Armut stays alive in the pit, trying to use those crushing blows and that Nimbus Strike the best that he can. Isles will escape with his life, managing to lifesteal on the W, and finally Armut takes him down. It is a crazy fight as a 4 for 3 so far. Armut's running low on man, and I think he's going to be forced to run away. But that was ridiculous inside the pit.
God, Trevor, that fight was so long. Regardless of the kills, SuperMassive picked up the 3rd Dragon. They're on Ocean Soul point. So for the rest of the game, Legacy really needs to keep tabs on these Dragons, because if they lose the Ocean Soul, it could be game-changing, especially when you're playing something like the Lulu, the Aphelios. And look at Balulu's items. He actually has Mikael, so he was trying to kind of stop some of the CC coming in from Legacy. I think it was the sleep from Babip, from the Lilia's ult, trying to kind of cleanse those things away. And I mean, SuperMassive had such a good engage. They got the huge Wukong ultimate into a huge knockup, and they kind of won the fight. They got the Dragon, and then Legacy kind of say, well, let's stop playing whack-a-mole, let's just kill them all. So they do go for it. Armut TP's in behind, which I think is kind of what saves the fight for SuperMassive. You can see 1v4 in the pit takes down 2.
Put yourself in their shoes, right? You're on a pro team. You know how communication goes.
Yeah.
What the hell are Legacy or SuperMassive saying to each other when they decide to play whack-a-mole in the pit, because that was 20 to 30 seconds of do we go, do we not go, do we go, do we not go, do you land a shot, do you not land a shot?
It was basically like dodgeball almost. They had the spears from Nidalee, Ezreal was throwing in the Qs as well, so Northus was looking for the hooks, Snowflower looking for those hooks as well, and one team didn't really want to engage, because if they commit first, you can have a slight advantage.
I can tell you right now, SuperMassive were not trained by Patches or Houlihan, because they did not dodge, dip, duck, or dive enough inside that pit. Apologies, I've done that 2 days in a row, but it was a good one.
But I mean, the Ocean Soul map is kind of what helped them a lot as well. SuperMassive in that pit actually had a bush. I don't know if they sweeped out the ward that Legacy had in there, but playing with the bush is definitely what you want to do in fights.
2.5 minutes until Ocean Soul. SuperMassive, despite the item disparity,
yep,
they committed to the fight. Next time around, they'll at least have the eye edge for Zeitnot. But now they are dealing with even more itemization. And by the way, there's only one tower that has been culled. It's down the bottom lane. The second will do so now.
Yeah, SuperMassive has no flash in their bot lane. The Ornals comes out. I think he's dead.
Well, let's find out. That's a dead Snowflower.
They can go for tier 2 now.
Down by True Shot Mirage. And SuperMassive's response is to take the top tower.
Yeah, they're going to trade 2 towers for 1 by looks of it here. And Raze dashes forward. Zeitnot has no flash as well.
So much damage. 2.5 items.
This Ezreal is online. Look at his kills. 7 and 1 and 4. Raze is just carrying the game for them. It's like Armut versus Raze this game. And then you've got Topoon on the Ornn, who's playing super consistent. Tally's also the front line for Raze. So just so well played by Legacy. And Armut's been their bridge from early to mid and now towards the late game, helping them so much in fights, but he wasn't there. They had no flashes. They stepped up. Raze and Topoon punished it. And this is a Baron start.
Are you kidding me? The tempo of this game is explosive. 6,000 HP on Baron. Kakao does not have
Raze
flash,
can dash out the pit,
but he does have Cougar form to pounce. All of a sudden, there's the engage. Tally manages to pull 2 together. Armut still got that showstopper. Bolulu dead before anything can happen. The Cyclone doesn't matter. Now Snowflower's in. Finally, the Cyclone comes down, but Armut is killed. Snowflower will be the next to fall, and Zeitnot wasn't even there. Legacy can go back to the Baron, 10, 1, and 5, and Raze continues the legacy of oceanic AD carries. This kid is popping off.
This kid is popping off, Trevor. 10 and 1 in this tiebreak in this game. He's going for the second seed, for the tiebreaker against Liquid, and Raze is just carrying them so well. But Tally and Topoon are doing so good on these engages, helping Raze find the fights, find the damage that he needs to put out. And Raze got hit by a spear at the start of that fight. I thought he was kind of out of it, but he did manage to get the damage down. And wow, the team fighting from the side of Legacy is crazy, and this all comes down to the draft. SuperMassive, they used all their flash in the Dragon fights, and then when it came to objectives, Legacy group up, they use all their buttons if you walk too far close to them, and everyone dies and they get Baron. So, Legacy, such good engage and just good decision-making overall.
Raze items are just illegal. Death Dance is now 10, 1, and 5.
Look at him go.
This is how it started, right?
Yeah, Topoon has no Ornal. They just killed Snowflower, and Raze dashes forward, Zeitnot, no flash. Look at the damage he's got. He just takes him out. And now, 3 items Ezreal at 22 minutes. Are you kidding?
Good luck. Good luck, SuperMassive. 5,500 gold down. Baron buff on the side of Legacy. Death Dance, Frozen Fist, already completed there for Raze. Armut's trying to look for a flank. He's got himself the Death Dance as well. And Raze is able to solo push them away. Now, SuperMassive, if they can steal this, the Ocean Soul may be what is required to buy time. But they are in a gigantic deficit. Earlier this game, they were in a literal hole. The Baron pit hole being shot at by Legacy. Zeitnot tagged by the Swirl Seed. Babip's going to hold on to the Lullaby for now. True Shot Barrage does nothing to Armut.
Raze is a one-man army right now. With the shields from Isles, he's just kind of standing in their face, zoning them out alone. Tally, look at Tally. He's not on vision, he's coming behind. There are flash on SuperMassive, but he's got Bolulu maybe.
Call of the Forge God comes out, and Snowflower does it again. He interrupts yet another Call of the Forge God. 3 members from the side of SuperMassive trying to focus down Tally, and they simply can't do it. Snowflower's dead. The Wild Growth will not be enough to save SuperMassive, and they will be aced. Legacy are destroying SuperMassive.
Topoon TPing in mid. I'm not sure if they can end. There's only 30 seconds on the side of SuperMassive, but they'll definitely get the inhib. They're not going to go for the Dragon, but I think, yep, Babip's going back towards the Dragon, and that's what we said. Look at Legacy's team fights. It's the Ornald, it's Tally with the flanks, Babip with the sleeps, and Raze is he's just hitting everyone. 12 and 1.
Look at the kill, death, assist column. 14 of 20 kills for Topoon. 19 of 20 for Babip, 15 of 20 for Tally, 20 of 20 for Raze and Isles. It has been a team effort. it has been team fights, and it has been breakneck speed.
Yep.
Because Legacy have picked themselves up, what is like 15 or 16 kills in the last 10 freaking minutes.
Yeah, Snowflower did well, like you said, to cancel the on-ult, but Tally with the flank, he holds his ult for so long, waiting for that one moment where he can get a good sort of slow onto Zeitnot, hits 3 people, uses the W to get the shield, hits all 3 people again, and Raze comes in, Babip comes in, and like you said, Trevor, like, this comp is all about team fighting. And after that Drake, they must have said, okay, we're going to run around as 5. They have no flashes for 5 minutes. We're going to engage on every objective they try to defend. And that's what they did. They got the tier 1 mid. They got the tier 2 mid. They got the Baron. And now they got the Ocean Soul away from Supermassive. So
this is disgusting. 4,000 gold Baron power play. Oof. That is... It's just bonkers.
And look at the items on Supermassive. You know, you've got the Athenes on Cacao, yeah, not much damage there. You've got the Mikhails and the GLP on the side of Blulu. He won't be doing damage. Zeitnot, 25 minutes, 2 items. Look across the other side. There's huge items across everyone. Yeah. 3 items, 4 items, Ezreal. The Orin's so tanky. I don't know really if Supermassive can even cut down the front line of Legacy.
No, absolutely not. Legacy have just done everything they needed to. And remember, there was Raze and Isles that lost their flash and exhaust at level 2, level 3. They were the ones on the back foot. They didn't have the push. Kadrill was setting up a storyline that when a ranged support loses to a melee support, it's going to be bad, it's going to be problematic.
Yep.
We never got a chance to build on that storyline because Legacy just grouped as 5 and fought multiple objectives and frankly won, for the most part, every single one. Despite the fact Supermassive have got themselves 3 dragons under their name, this is such a gigantic deficit, and Legacy have all the tools they need to close the game out before Zeitnot becomes a problem.
Yeah, Raze has kind of been taking over the game ever since that early Herald fight that Supermassive opted into, the 3v5. Tapoon, is this the weak side, please?
Well, let's take a look at this. 1 versus 3, by the way. Here comes Tally. He's ghosting his way in. Snowflower's going to be the first target, and feels like it's just a matter of time till he gets shut down. Armut and Zeitnot in trouble. That's a flash forward from Armut. Moonlight Vigil will not be enough to save Zeitnot. And yes, the Wukong is going to jump in and pick up at least 1, pick up at least 2. But here comes Babip. He's got himself those blooming blows. And he will be able to get a counter kill, but Supermassive, they're still defending what is going to be 2v3.
Big shutdowns for Supermassive. If they can hold this Nexus, it's sort of like a breath of fresh air for them. I mean, Raze, he did have Isles by his side, but he didn't have Tally and Tapoon. He didn't have the front line in front of him, so Armut could jump onto him with Balulu, and it was kind of like a 2v2, and they did lose it in the end. Lots of damage onto the side of Raze, so Legacy, not a huge mistake. They got the inhib, they got a couple kills, and Armut did pick up the shutdown, so it will help him out, but that's not really where you want the gold. You want it onto Zeitnot, so Raze, a little bit of a misstep there, but
yeah,
if they just group back up, I think
he was feeling very confident.
Oh, look at this. He was feeling himself. He dash shoved all, then instantly flashed onto Zeitnot. Does so much damage to him. Does kill him in about 3 autos, but this is the 2v2, 2v3 we talked about. There's no front line to cover Raze and Isles, so they do get taken down. Babbitt gets 1 back, but he really needs that beefy front line in front of him to stop Armut getting on the back line.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they Babbitt recognizing that if Armut were to get a couple crushing blows down, he'd be in trouble, so he instantly backed away. And the reason that I focus pretty heavily on Raze is that several days ago when we started the World Championship play-ins group stage, Kadrill and I were on the AD, we were talking a little bit about some of the players to watch and the teams, and from Oceania, they produce really good AD carries and bot laners that have been picked up by other leagues around the world.
Yep. And
Raze is going to be the next sort of in a fairly long line of mechanically proficient, very good players.
Yeah, you've got players like FPI and King. Now you've got players like Raze, who's really popping off in this play-ins. I mean, instead he's a little bit quiet in the lane phase, but in the team fights he's been showing up.
Kadrill, I'm so confused because Oceania have only ever let me down. When I've watched this region, and Aussies, you know it. Every time we get out there, they get so close to success, but they find a way to throw or they find a problem. They win this game, they're guaranteed 1st or 2nd in the group. If they take down Team Liquid, they're guaranteed the group stage for the first time. Don't let me down, Oceania. Let's see if they can close this game out. They have all the tools they need to.
Starting up the Baron.
Baron is at risk
can't
here.
dash in there. Nidalee is a good champ at stealing Baron. If she hits the Q, dashes over, gets the Q smite from the Cougar form. So Legacy need to look to turn this.
Tally gets caught out there by the dredge line. Call the Forge God will knock up 2 members. Zeitnot forced to run away. He's now in position to fight, and Snowflower's already dead. Supermassive are caught out. The vigil does not matter. Babip is just going to run down Zeitnot and blow him with some blooming blows. And all the damage onto Tally now. There's the damage from the Cyclone. This could turn around. Armut, can he get any of the carries though? Isles is still alive, and with the fact that Raze goes untouched, Legacy can turn their attention to the base. That's a teleport onto the next Nexus turret, and Legacy may just have done it. Bolulu running for his life. Raze wants to pad the stats. Gets turned into a munchkin for now, but with the Mystic shots and the autos,
Oh, look at that damage.
he'll be able to kill him.
Oh, he was emoting him! He didn't want to finish him!
Unbelievable!
He was BMing!
The emote does not do it, and it will not matter at the end of the day. Snowflower has got 4 members of Legacy to deal with, and Legacy will take down Super